It's got to the point now where it looks like I'm touting for work at Disney's front door.
Oh, I see.
Like, give me the Obi Wan
I see what you're saying, yeah.
But of course, I'd be happy to do it.
Did you steal a lightsaber
Yes.
when you did that the first time?
Yes.
And where is that lightsaber now? You don't know?
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. You guys probably just saw the awesome news. They confirm that Ewan McGregor is coming back to do a Star Wars Obi Wan Kenobi series for Disney+. So we'll break all the details down, do my top 10 predictions. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. I will be doing episode videos for The Mandalorian when it premieres later this year too. So I will talk about the actual schedule for the Disney Plus Star Wars series because there are a couple of those that they've already announced and started producing. But we had heard Ewan McGregor talk about coming back as Obi-Wan for a long time. They had been rumored to be doing a Star Wars Obi-Wan movie right up until the Solo movie bombed, and they completely changed their plans for how they were doing the Star Wars movies because they had talked about doing a Boba Fett movie, but then when they canceled those plans, they basically turned that into the Mandalorian TV series, and now the Obi-Wan movie is basically becoming the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series. A lot of this we already know about, so top 10 predictions and details. So number 10, they'll do 6 to 8 episodes with a chance for multiple seasons. It's easier for major film actors to do television when it's only a half a season, when they do a handful of episodes, instead of doing the normal 22, 23 episode seasons that tie them up for almost the whole year. And right now, Ewan McGregor is very active. That's how we get all these clips of him talking about coming back as Obi-Wan, because every year he'll release a new movie, and every time he'll go on talk shows and people will ask him, "Are you coming back to play Obi-Wan again?"
You know,
Yeah.
Only Obi-Wan. Is that something that you would be interested in?
That's a good title, Only Obi-Wan.
Only Obi, yeah.
And he's been pretty coy, but I think the idea is that a couple years ago, they talked to him about officially doing an Obi-Wan movie. Then when plans fell through for that, they went back to him and said, okay, we kind of like to do this as a Disney Plus series, which he obviously said yes to because they're confirming it now. But number 9, no-brainer here, the series will most likely take place during that time period that the Obi-Wan movie would have covered, a few years after he took Luke Skywalker to Tatooine and settled down into his old Ben Kenobi persona. But that was happening 16 years prior to the beginning of A New Hope, so you have to think about the timeline here. He had a lot of adventures during that period. He didn't stay on Tatooine every minute of every day for those entire 16 years. So that's the stuff that they'll cover on the TV series. And even though the Han Solo movie completely bombed hard with fans and critics, there was a very clear teaser at the end of that they were trying to set something up for future Obi-Wan movie stuff with the returned Darth Maul, who had taken over the Crimson Dawn criminal empire and was sort of a boss of bosses in his corner of the galaxy.
Bring the ship and come to me on Dathomir, and you and I will then decide what to do about the traitor Beckett and his accomplices.
I am sure that Ray Park would love to come back and play more live-action Darth Maul, or even if that doesn't work out and they want to go younger and use Sam Witwer as live-action Darth Maul. If you're not a longtime Star Wars animated series fan, Sam Witwer did the voice for Maul during Star Wars Clone Wars animated series and the Star Wars Rebels series. So number 8, we should just say it, Darth Maul should be the main villain of this series. But here's the thing, Star Wars Rebels takes place about 5 years before A New Hope, and the Darth Maul post-credit scene on the Star Wars Solo movie was happening about 10 years before A New Hope, so they have a solid 5 years of untouched territory when Darth Maul is rising to power in the criminal syndicates, and he hasn't had his last standoff rematch with Obi Wan Kenobi during Star Wars Rebels, because that's basically the end of Darth Maul's timeline is during Star Wars Rebels. That's when he finally killed him. So if they don't want to break the canon, because technically Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars are canon to all the films, all they have to do is just make sure that Obi-Wan doesn't kill Darth Maul before he's supposed to, quote unquote. But I'm totally fine with that as long as they have at least a couple epic lightsaber battles. 7, the tone of the series is probably going to be a little high plains drifter, space western, just like The Mandalorian. It's just that Obi-Wan is less of a neutral protagonist. You know exactly what he would and he wouldn't do, how he would act in situations. The Mandalorian character is a bounty hunter, and he's more of a scoundrel when you meet him for the first time. So 6, what's the actual arc of the series going to be? Early prediction here, some of this is based on what the planned plot of the Obi-Wan movie was going to be. So Obi-Wan destabilizing Crimson Dawn and Darth Maul's criminal empire, leaving him in ruins, in pieces, just like he left him in pieces after Phantom Menace. Usually big series like this have big goals and small goals, like Obi-Wan destroying a criminal empire is a really big deal. But while that's going on, he needs to be trying to save someone that he cares about. He needs to have some personal stakes in it that don't involve Luke Skywalker, because they can't really do a whole lot with Luke Skywalker during this period. I don't think that they want to touch the holy trinity of Star Wars characters too much on these TV series. But there have been rumors about them doing a young Leia TV series, like Millie Bobby Brown playing a very young version of Leia. That would be a big Disney Plus series. They killed off Obi-Wan's love interest, Satine, during Clone Wars, but so much of his life during this period between movies is unknown. It's possible they could introduce a new one, or someone that he cares about. But as far as we know, there is still no quote-unquote daughter of Obi-Wan, even though there's still plenty of theories going on in the Star Wars movies right now. 5, talking about other villains, they already also killed off Asajj Ventress during Clone Wars, so they can't bring her back either. But there's still all kinds of minor dark side adepts and Sith artifacts they can use in the story to invoke a lot more Jedi aspects of the mythology. Anytime you tell a big Star Wars story, movie or TV show, there's always the Force-based lore, and then there's the more political, military side of things, like the Empire or the criminal underworld. I'm expecting the series to be more of a criminal underworld story with Jedi stuff in it. But the other really cool thing that he was doing during this time, you guys will remember, was studying in how to become a Force Ghost. Qui-Gon Jinn spent most of this period teaching him how to do it. But number 4, talking about the other series, the Obi-Wan series can cross over with some of the other live-action Star Wars series set during this period, but not The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian is the one that's coming first, but that's set 5 years after Return of the Jedi, so that's way long time in the future after what we would see during the Obi-Wan series. The one that we know that's happening right around this time, though, is the Star Wars Rogue One prequel series. So they sort of bump up against each other. You could cross those series over, but Obi Wan Kenobi didn't really get involved with the rebellion until A New Hope, when he was being called back into action by Leia. Years ago, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars, meaning that she probably had not met him as an adult, and Leia was a core part of the birth of the rebellion, so she was around that all the time. If he'd have been around for that too, they would have already crossed paths before the events of New Hope. Number 3, because Obi-Wan was trying to stay off the Empire's radar during this period, I'm not expecting to see a ton of huge Imperial characters like Grand Moff Tarkin or the bigger generals that we know were still alive during this period. If he would have ever gotten in a big fight with Imperial officers and stormtroopers, they would have reported it, and eventually Darth Vader and the Emperor would have heard rumblings about an old Jedi living on Tatooine. Eventually they would have found out about Luke Skywalker and tried to turn him before the events of A New Hope, or killed him if he wouldn't come over to the dark side. So most of the characters during the Obi-Wan series probably going to be a mixture of brand new people we've never seen before and a couple of old favorites, just Darth Maul being the biggest one. Number 2, since they made the series official now, we all thought it was going to happen for a long time, but they just made it official. That means they probably won't start shooting it till next year, which means we probably won't actually see episodes till 2021. But that's not a huge deal. The whole idea of the Star Wars content now is that they're taking a break from the movies for at least 2 to 3 years after Episode 9 drops this Christmas, and then filling that gap with the big budget TV series. Right now we know about 3 confirmed ones and a possible 4th one. The Mandalorian is launching in November. I will do episode videos for that. They're probably going to drop the first official trailer next week at D23. They'll probably post it online, so I'll do a breakdown of that when that does drop. There's the Rogue One prequel show, which is probably going to premiere sometime next year. They've already confirmed a lot of that cast from the movie is coming back. Now we have the Obi-Wan series, and then there's a rumored 4th one that we don't know about yet. I always thought that they would try to do a young Leia series, but I think that they were trying to give some time since Carrie Fisher passed away, so I'm not expecting that to happen anytime soon. But the idea with these Disney Star Wars series and the Marvel series is that there'll be a couple of them every single year eventually. We know they're doing The Mandalorian Season 2, so some of these Star Wars series will get second seasons, which I don't think is the case with the Marvel ones, but I'll just do new breakdown videos as we get more details about which Disney Plus Star Wars shows they're going to do. But they could do stuff from all over the timeline, including all the way back to Knights of the Old Republic. In number 1, big prediction here, I really hope for an occasional appearance from Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn Force Ghost, Yoda, and maybe an occasional Darth Vader live-action appearance. Here's the thing, it's a lot easier to explain Qui-Gon Jinn showing up to teach Obi-Wan how to become a Force Ghost because we knew that was happening during this period, but when Darth Vader and Obi-Wan fought each other during A New Hope, the implication based on their dialogue was that they had not faced each other directly in combat since the battle on Mustafar in Episode 3. But as long as they're not standing right next to each other, it'd probably be fine. And an interesting thing too is that Darth Vader and the Emperor would probably know what Darth Maul was doing with Crimson Dawn during this period too, even though they themselves were not pursuing him. But everybody, post your reactions and all your predictions for this Obi Wan Kenobi Star Wars series. I think it's going to be awesome. I love Ewan McGregor. He's a great actor. Like I said, D23 is going to be happening next week. We'll probably get a trailer for The Mandalorian, so there'll be a lot of Star Wars news happening around that time. While you wait for everything, click here to learn about the Avengers Endgame Loki spin-off series that's coming to Disney+, and click here for my video from The Boys Season 1 ending on Amazon. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.